Part machine, other part machine, all cop. It is the actual RoboCop. Yes, I stole that from the Rip the Peril shirt. I hope you own it, because I do, and it's a fantastic shirt. But, hello everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're continuing our look at the Wave 2 Deluxes from Transformers Siege, and this is Prowl. I was able to get this figure off of eBay in a set of the Wave 2 Deluxes because they were showing up at Walmart, and I got a good deal, paid about retail for them, so I really don't mind. And I have to say, in hand, Prowl is a much better and cooler looking figure than I thought. As you can see, he is based heavily on its G1 car look, with some clear elements and styling differences to make it look a little more Cybertronian. You'll notice he is holding his acid pellet gun, which looks a lot better in hand than it does in photos. I do not have the light bar attached because I'm able to leave it on the back, and I just don't like the look with the light bar attached. Outside of the back of the legs, the figure's not that hollow. It does have universal joints in the hips, 90-degree bend at the knees, ankle pivot, which is something new for the Siege line. You do actually have to play with the ankles a little for transformation to get it standing properly. Swivel here at the hips, no waist articulation due to the transformation, universal joints at the shoulders, bicep swivel, and I would say a 90-degree bend at the elbow, as well as a bowl-jointed head. As with all Siege figures, Prowl does feature the various 5mm ports for the combat weapon system, as well as the little nubs to peg on the various blast effects. So, we'll pause for just a quick moment, and we'll get into the transformation. Okay, I've gone ahead and returned Prowl to a neutral pose, and before we get into the transformation, there was one thing I wanted to mention, and there have been some complaints about Prowl's proportions looking off and things of that nature. And having the figure in hand, I kind of figured out what it was. His legs are just a little too short in relation to the rest of the body. Everything else looks proportionate. His arms are the perfect length. The chest is not as wide as it would look. It's all the legs. And, you know, making it look like he has gorilla arms or a wide chest, that's all an optical illusion due to the fact that his legs are just a little too short. Well, once you see it, it kind of goes away and it really isn't an issue anymore. But that was just something I felt compelled to mention, since I know a lot of people were contemplating passing on Prowl due to the looks. His chest isn't that wide. The arms aren't that long. It's just the legs are a little short. So once you start, posing it around, bending the elbows, it kind of does look a little better. But in its static pose like this, yeah, it does. And the other thing, and I just noticed this, his chest might look a little wider than usual, and that's because the black on the front of the car is actually sort of blending into the arms, making it look a little bit wider than it is. But that's that. Let's get right into the transformation. First thing you want to do is pop off this waist section right here. You'll then unfold the entire head section, and it is on an accordion joint, so you'll bring it back. Make sure you pull that white panel that comes out from the back of the torso area. Now you're going to go ahead and flip that panel up first. There are some tabs there that will tell you when to stop pushing, and then what you want to do is fold this waist piece down, and it will just tuck up under the hood like that. Now the instructions will tell you to then collapse everything up, and there are holes here that will fit around pegs right here on the silver section of the roof. Don't do that yet. because if you do that and peg the torso in, you'll have a hard time folding up the legs with the light bar in place. Instead, what you want to do, come down to the legs here, peg them together. We're going a little bit out of order now. Come around, fold the heel pieces up. There are tabs there that will fit into the slots on the back of the leg. Oh, no, wait, sorry, that was my mistake. First, fold the heel pieces up, and then fold the feet up, and that will tab in. Rotate the waist around, and now you'll just collapse the legs up. Make sure you get them down and in as far as they will go, just like that. Now, I would suggest coming in and bringing the torso down and pegging that into place. And as you'll see, the top just came down quite nicely, no fiddling or anything. Next, to help secure everything into place, just bring these doors in. It's kind of weird. You have to like play with them a little to kind of push them into place, but there's a post there, hole there, hole there. It'll just go right in, and that does help, and that really brings the car together and holding it in place. Make sure it's pegged in all the way, nice and secure. And now for the arms, if you remember from Cyberverse Warrior Class Prowl or the Generations Cyber Battalion figure, it's roughly the same. Bring the arms out to the side, rotate them down so the fists are facing towards you. Bring the arms in on the shoulders. There are tabs in the roof. It's white right there where my finger is. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. And there are slots on the inside of the shoulder joint that will kind of hold that in place. And then just bring the arm down. There are slots on the forearm that will fit into some grooves there in the chest. And get a little squeeze and touch up. And there you have Prowl in its robot mode. You can bring in his acid pellet gun. Unfortunately, there's no way to store the weapon underneath. It does peg in here at the top by the clip. That is another way also you can attach the light bar in robot mode. Just making sure I have the light bar straight. And there you have Prowl. Nice and done. I know some people were complaining about the clear wheels. Gives it a little bit more of like a Tron vehicle look. Also, I should point out, since we can get a clear shot at the hood, you do notice these little slots. Now, by this point, everyone has probably seen the promo images of what will be Generations Barricade, who is just a repaint of what will probably be a forthcoming War for Cybertron Siege smokescreen. And those slots are where the classic smokescreen looking shoulder cannons will peg into place. And then they will peg together to form a hand weapon. And I am praying that at least with smokescreen, they include maybe a repaint of this gun or something, since smokescreen's iconic look is for robot mode is the shoulder cannons and a hand weapon, and not either or. But I think I have to resign myself to the fact that we're only going to get the shoulder cannons, and that's it. But this is a really nice looking vehicle mode. Very futuristic, but also has a little bit of a take on a modern sports car. I like the sloping when you have everything pegged in, coming down to the front, almost like it's coming to a point. There is Cybertronian writing on the side. I think it says police or something like that. I guarantee you it's nothing that you would consider offensive. Never happening again, but we'll just pause and I'll be back with my final thoughts. One last thing I want to mention as a bit of an update to my loyal viewers. If you remember from the Siege Voyager Starscream review, I had mentioned that, as well as other reviewers have mentioned, that there were issues with the little chest plate constantly popping off. Well, as of this recording, at least one person has found in the wild a version of that Starscream figure with pins going through the chest. Now, I actually didn't notice it when I was handling the figure, but there are holes there, as if it was made for pins to go through. So the belief is the early releases of Starscream, which were showing up at Walmarts and things of that nature, it was either a mistake that they didn't get the pins, or Hasbro quickly realized there was a mistake and have made a running change to include the pins in the torso. So if you're looking for Starscream in the wild, you can see through the packaging and look on the sides of the chest to see if the pins are there. I don't know about online retailers like Amazon, who has been getting the figure in stock. They might still have an early release that doesn't have the pins, so it's up to you. Personally, I'm a little upset about it, and I would hope that Hasbro would do the right thing and go ahead and offer the fans some sort of trade-in program or whatever to get the to swap out the wrong Starscreams for the ones with the chest piece pinned in place. But that's neither here nor there. Just wanted to throw that out to you. Prowl's a great figure. It's a fun deluxe. Obviously, if you're a fan of Prowl, I know in the last few years his popularity has actually risen, whereas guys like me remember he was actually a core member of the original G1 team back in the day, and we got to know Chip Chase through him. So it's always nice to see Prowl. Definitely, I think this figure, like Sideswipe, borrows a little bit from the Masterpiece, not nearly as much as Sideswipe. So, but it has that same look and feel. And I definitely think this is better than the Combiner Wars version. So when you see him out in the wild or online, definitely worth a pickup. This is your old pal Chuck for Prowl. We will see you next time.